Earlier this month, the Vatican declared the Catholic Church won't bless same-sex unions, saying it cannot bless a sin. That comes even as a number of priests are beginning to come out of the shadows, as Seth Doane will tell us.
The setting, with its soaring cathedral ceiling and sacraments, are typical of any Catholic service. But the similarities stopped with this sermon.
Because if there's anything that an LGBTQ person will know, it is that we're going to face opposition.
Yes, Father Greg Greighton said we members of the LGBTQ community. You're one of very few openly gay priests.
Yeah.
How many?
I've always heard the number thrown out, like 10 of us
10.
that are really out there. Yeah. All glory.
There are roughly 38,000 priests in America. What are you risking by being out?
Sometimes it feels like I have to walk on a tightrope.
I've been carrying a heavy burden.
Father Greg came out to his congregation in this Milwaukee suburb about 3 years ago at age 51.
I am a gay priest and a celibate priest.
This moment came after a lifetime of struggle, serving a church that teaches that acting on homosexual feelings is a sin.
I just want to break the silence. We're here. And for me, Seth, that was part of the hypocrisy that I was watching happen.
Did you feel like a hypocrite when you were up here at the pulpit and not out?
I personally did. It's like wearing a mask. Every day I have to go up there and pretend I'm something that I'm not. Bless you.
He pledged, as all priests do, to live a celibate life. For him, this was not about sexual activity, but identity. He found folks in his congregation were overwhelmingly supportive. Does it matter to you that the priest here is gay?
No, that's a positive thing.
Carol and Fred Weber's son had come out to them years earlier.
We went in the closet for a while until we were able to accept it. Of course we loved our son.
Later, they say, having an openly gay priest helped. But the church itself has not been so pleased.
The unwritten comment is, don't talk about it. We know you're there, but be silent.
I'm not courageous enough yet.
Father Frederick, as we'll call him, feared losing his salary, health care, church housing, pension, and the authority to minister. What does it say that you need to do this interview in shadow?
It says that it's not cool to be gay if you're a priest. And if you are gay and a priest both at the same time, you gotta hide one or the other.
He likened that secrecy to the double life of spies. Did you remain celibate as a priest?
No, I did not. I experimented, I struggled. There were liaisons, there were relationships, and there was love several times.
Love and sexual intimacy with another man?
Yes.
With other priests?
Once or twice.
He said his seminary, where he trained to be a priest, was a warehouse of young men struggling with their sexuality. They were encouraged from the top and the beginning to keep quiet. What's the effect of this culture of silence on the church?
It is a slow-moving cancer.
While Pope Francis famously responded, "Who am I to judge?" when asked about gay priests during a papal press conference, he has also said that anyone with deep-seated homosexual tendencies shouldn't be a priest. Their place is not in ministry or in consecrated life, he said.
I think if you had suddenly all the gay priests in the United States come out, I think the church would be forced to look at the question of homosexuality in a very different light.
Father James Martin, a Jesuit priest and author, is the most high-profile advocate for LGBTQ Catholics. And in 2019, Pope Francis requested a meeting with him.
The Vatican put our audience on the Pope's official schedule. They sent out a picture. I met with him in the Apostolic Palace, which is where he meets with presidents and diplomats. It was a pretty strong sign of his support.
The tone is new. The teachings haven't changed.
The teachings haven't changed, but the tone is very important.
Ann Martin says ultimately Catholic leaders need to shift their thinking.
It's a life issue. We have high suicide rates among LGBT youth, and we also have places in the world where gay people can be arrested and executed for being gay.
He calls Pope Francis the most pro-LGBT pope ever, though acknowledges that's not a high bar. Francis is the first pope to use the word gay publicly.
One of the things I lament is if there were a case of, say, bullying in a parish or in a school, it would be wonderful for the gay priest to get up and say, look, I was bullied as a boy. So there are these life experiences that I think people are missing in the church.
How many gay priests do you think there are?
I'm guessing, maybe 40%. Who knows? If it was 40%, I wouldn't be surprised. If it was 80%, I wouldn't be surprised.
It is a large silent community, a vast silent majority.
Frederick Martel is a French author who spent 4 years researching his book In the Closet of the Vatican about the gay underworld there. He says he interviewed hundreds of priests, even cardinals.
It's 50 shades of gay. I mean, a lot of different kind of gay.
He suggests the largest group of men in the Vatican may be gay but do not practice and can actually be the most homophobic. And in interviews discovered a real range of sexual identities.
Each of them is totally singular in his little closet.
How many priests do you think you have slept with?
I think about 100.
A lot.
We have in Italy many thousands of priests, so 100 is not so much.
Francesco Mangiacapra is a sex worker with a law degree who found one priest client led to another and another. What's this?
It's my dossier about gay priests in Italy.
Over roughly 5 years, Mangiacapra compiled this 1,200-page dossier of personal profiles, graphic photos, and text message exchanges with roughly 50 of the priests who were his clients. He submitted it to his local Archdiocese of Naples, he says, as a political act.
Si tratta di un atto politico, non di una rivalsa.
This demonstrates that there's a flaw in the system, a system which tolerates certain behavior but makes it so these behaviors are hidden, he told us. He admitted the dossier had scared off some priest clients, but not all, adding,
The libido is higher than the fear.
It's important to note the priests we spoke with, as well as the Vatican itself, see no connection between homosexuality and the clerical sexual abuse crisis. A 5-year study by New York's John Jay College, commissioned by bishops, found the data do not support a finding that homosexual identity is a risk factor for the sexual abuse of minors. We spoke with about 24 priests who told us they were gay, but few would share their stories publicly.
I admire priests who are willing to stand up, come out of the closet. That's courage.
Most told us they felt forced into the closet. It's a painful, confining place, particularly in a church community where they're expected to be role models.
Our liturgy is ended. Let us go forth now to love and to serve our God and one another.
Father Greg Greiton, faithfully serving his parish in Wisconsin, says secrecy is a scourge in the church. So the first step for him is being open and honest. You signed up to work for an institution that thinks being gay, acting out on that is a sin.
Correct. But the difference is this is my spiritual home. This is where I was baptized. This is where I received my first communion. And so this is my home. And I don't believe that the home should be throwing out its children.